Hey everyone! Thank you for taking the time to join in with Uncommon Women Podcast, a dope podcast to bring light to reality from real life people sharing real life stories with a host of women having real life talk, the good and the bad, with no judgment. Uncommon Women's Loyalty is here to support those that need a safe space to speak their truth and rawness to the world. Tune in, relax, take notes, and let's vibe. Here are your hosts, Uncommon Women.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to Uncommon Women. I'm Shanira.
And I am Tyra, aka the Go Guru.
Yes, so we did have a guest speaker that was going to join us today in regards to trauma and how she's helping others and being a consultant. But unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it with us today due to a family emergency. So just please keep her in prayer. Not sure what's going on there, but we are all about prayer and uplifting people when they are going through things, because as women, you know, life happens. Life happens. So speaking on life happening, we're going to just do a check-in today to see how everyone's doing and basically give a little testimony of how we're doing this year. And we're just going to go from there. So we do have a new co-host on Uncommon Women, which I'm super excited. She's been doing phenomenal these past couple of months. Shout out to Tyra, just killing it. And Tyra, how has things been going for you so far? We are about to hit May, girl. We're about to hit May.
Yeah.
Almost summertime. You know, some people going to be outside, but we about to hit May. So how is things going for you so far?
So far, this year feels like, I know it's only been 4 months in, but I feel like it's been already like 11. But I think that's just how it is when you're working so hard. It's so funny, like when you're doing what you're supposed to do, like all the things that happen for you. Because if, like Shanira, even if you think about how we met, like, and like the things that we're getting done and like already, and the things that we have planned and the things that you've taught me, like it's phenomenal. And 2 years ago, I did not see myself like in this position at all. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't see myself doing this, encouraging others. I couldn't even encourage myself. So
Wow.
this is
Now,
just,
when you say 2 years ago, were you going through something where it's just like, how did I get here? Because you know, sometimes we just be going in emotions of going through stuff, and then it's too late, and it's like, wow, how did I get myself into this situation?
yeah, I think every part of life, like every little like quarter of your life has like there's a testimony attached to it.
Right.
You know, because like you told me earlier when we were talking, you were like, everything starts from childhood. So like there's a testimony and trial everywhere. But that was like the peak of my adulthood testimony. God threw me out in the world kind of and was like, let's see how you handle it. And I got real worldly.
Come on.
and and with depression, you look for a quick fix. So quick
That void. You're trying to fill that void.
Yes. So a depression and feeling voids at what, 22, 23, that's boys, that's alcohol, that's partying, that's you want to be the prettiest girl in the room, you want to be like, you know what, you just put so much energy in things that don't matter. And that was me. That was me. And that's why I say I didn't see myself here today, valuing myself, you know, sitting at the same table with people who refer to themselves as queens.
Right.
I mean, like,
but it's a divine appointment. I mean, God positioned you in a place to go through something so that you can have a clear lens of, this is not what's for me. This is not my life. This is not where I want to be. This is where he wants me to go. And the manifestation that he's put over your life 2 years later, you know, you're starting to see the identity in yourself and the value within yourself, because we all get stuck into the worldly things, you know, and I'm not perfect. I slip from time to time too. We all get stuck in the worldly things. I had a recent breakup, and even though I know who I am and I'm real firm in what I want in a relationship and my intentions are pure, it still set me back, because it was just like, I'm sick of dating. You know, dating gets boring, you know, especially the whole starting over stage. So it was just like our intentions was pure, but we were just in different levels in life.
Yeah,
but it was a peaceful breakup.
Because like I don't know if the viewers know you like I do already, but you're secure in who you are. So right. I'm sure that breakup messes up like self-esteem, and it meant like, you know what I mean? And
absolutely,
honestly, I'm in the, I don't even know, because you know, after you break up with somebody, you're never fully done until you're done.
You still dibble and dabble, right?
So within the last year, I experienced a breakup as well, and it's so annoying because it's a mental setback, especially when you're your own boss, because you got stuff together, or your whole project is showing. You know, it's showing in your work, it's showing in your attitude towards people. You know what I mean? So it really does set you back. No matter how secure you are in yourself, it's just like I envision myself with someone. You know, I envision my life going a certain way, and I think that's something that we got to work on too. Like when life doesn't go our way, that doesn't mean it's the end all be all. Like you got to have enough faith to know, like, what I'm praying for, it has to come to
right. And you made a good point with that. You definitely made a good point with that, because that was my eye opener. I looked at it like, you know, my life is not in my control.
Yeah, unfortunately,
it's in God's control. So even though it's something that I wanted to make work, that's not something that He wanted a part of my life. So it is a whirlwind where you got to mentally prepare yourself. How do I get back out and be okay and not think about it? You know. So I was at a standstill for the first month. I was like, we're gonna just start the new year in February.
I was like,
no, we're gonna just start the new year. We're gonna start my new year in February, because that was the whole mental break.
Oh my gosh. But that's crazy too. Cause okay, imagine you're praying at night too, and you're like, God, keep, you know, anyone that, it's crazy. I remember I used to pray when I was in a relationship, keep anything away from me that's not for me, or anything using me, or and it's crazy because it's like, no, God, this isn't what I want. But it's like, yes, you do. This is what you're praying for. Like, so it's so crazy. So you just got to keep the faith. You got to keep pushing. And that's what I've been experiencing. Sounds like you too. But it definitely helps, like I said, when you have a sisterhood.
Yes.
We're doing our best, sticking together. You're teaching me so much stuff, like I said. And even last week, I told you, I was like, Shanira, can you pray for me? Because like the devil was like, he was getting to me. He was
testing us. And that's good. I think, you know, no matter where you're at in life, we should always have someone that you can count on to uplift you, empower you. If you are being influenced by the wrong people in your life, you can be stuck in that turmoil longer than expected, you know? So for those that's listening, you know, try to get you a good circle, because a good circle is going to position you to be in a place where you need to be able to get out of that funk, because we all get into that funk, you know, rather it's relationship, rather it's family, because, you know, family take advantage of us. Family love us and feel like they can just do what they want to do. And when you ain't got boundaries, a lot of things can go the wrong way with family too. So rather it's family, relationships, even jobs. You know, if you're in a position or a place that is mentally breaking you down and not giving you peace, I feel as though if you're in a financial crisis where you don't have any other options, obviously you would have to stay there. But pray on trying to get a new job or a new opportunity to just have peace, because I'm in a point in my life where I don't let anything affect my peace.
Yes, you are the definition of unbothered.
And I still got some healing, you know, I have no filter. So I apologize to those that just may get the rawness at times, because if you catch me when I'm doing 1,000,001 things, I am a woman that wears many hats. It may come off a little strong, but I really am grounded with not letting anything affect my peace. Definitely.
But I love that you're accountable too. It's good to know who you are, know your strengths and your weaknesses, and like you know who you are, you know. And I love that about you. And I like when you said about the strong circle, because it's also, and it's taking accountability, because I'm not saying that my circle made me do anything, but they definitely influenced me to do.
Right.
and, you know, everything. And sometimes you need that bad circle to validate the things you're doing. So it's
Mm.
that they were making me do bad things, but you know, you're hanging around low quality
It's
people.
awareness.
Exactly. And you're aware you hang around low quality people, so you feel superior in the group, you know. And for me, my testimony 2 years ago, I like to party, and I don't know if you know this, but I feel like to be the one that parties the hardest, you need more than just alcohol. So then you start doing pills. Okay, then you need attention, because what those pills do at first, they give you hella confidence, so you're
Mm.
in a delusion. That's what drugs do to you. It puts you in a delusion. You're somebody else, but it feels good in the moment. When you're depressed,
Mm.
all you want to be is someone else. So that's how I got caught up in it. I got caught up in the partying because I get to be someone else. I'm the girl in the party. Everyone's looking at me. I'm having fun. And then you start to mess up in life because your money's going to drugs and your focus is all wrong and you're looking different and you're acting different. But your excuse is, I'm going through so much. But it's so crazy because you're the one putting yourself through so much.
Right, right. It's like you're playing victim and you're being accountable for being a victim, but
Yeah,
you're not being accountable for your actions.
absolutely. And that and honestly, I'm not gonna lie. My testimony didn't last as long. I think I used pills for at least 6 months, so it wasn't super long. It wasn't super drawn out, but because God got me together real quick, because I wasn't being myself, and I was
Mm.
friends. Family was so disappointed in me, and that hurt me. You know what I mean? When I got sober, that hurt me. You know, I didn't want to be that, because, you know, now that you know me, you see, they're like, where is the Tyra that I know?
Right. And
You know,
then people are very judgmental too. Well, she just wasn't doing that 2 years ago. And it's just like
so they,
growth. If you're not growing in life and reviving as you get older, I feel like you should definitely just have a whole reality check within yourself.
yeah,
Because like the world revives, you should be reviving within yourself as well.
I agree. I agree. And honestly, when and I couldn't keep up the habit financially.
Mm.
So I started going through withdrawal symptoms, and, you know, and I feel like God spoke to me, because right after work I started feeling suicidal, but I knew not to act on it. And God told me, like, go to the emergency room. And that's what I did, and I actually got help, and everyone was so kind to me. And one of my first nurses told me, you know, she said, "Oh, I love it." She was like, "I don't know." She was like, "I know I'm not supposed to be talking about this because, you know, I'm at work, but do you have a relationship with God?" And I was like, "I used to, but right now, obviously, how I'm living, because you guys know why I'm here, not right now."
Hmm.
Like, I'm telling you, she was like, "I slip, I fall. I'm human, but that's the only thing that keeps me afloat."
Mm.
It's like, okay,
Oh,
mental.
that just gave me chills.
Yes. Then I had a lady come, and mind you, I wasn't really going through a breakup. It was a couple years, but it was a 4-year relationship. So I feel like you have
Mm.
to divide your relationship time in two, and that's how long to heal.
Mhm. Right.
So I was still going through it. And then I had like another lady, because I don't know if you've ever been to the hospital, but you know how many people are in and out your room.
Right. Hmm.
I had another lady that was like with like human resources or whatever. She was
Discharge and all that. Right.
talking,
Hmm.
she was talking to me, and she's like, "What's making you feel so depressed? That's making you,"
Wow.
and I was like, "My high school sweetheart left me. I don't really like myself. I don't know what I want to do in life. I don't know this, and that." And she just told me, like, "Tyra, I put my heart and soul into my career." And she told me how her first husband left her and cheated with her sister. And she said
What?
I didn't know what I was.
Wow.
Faithfully went to church every Sunday. She said, I focused on my career. Even when it was hard, she said, I didn't have a car. I took a bus to school every day. She was like, and in my mind, she's like, do you think I wanted to kill myself? My sister is in Florida living the life of her dreams with my ex-husband.
Wow.
She was like, I got the career of my dreams. She said, Tyra, they pay me crazy money to do what I'm doing right now. And she said, and I have the man of my dreams who would do anything for me. And
Come on.
I'm like, you know what? I'm my own problem.
Mm.
I need to put me first instead of trying to distract myself, instead of trying to hurt myself internally with these drugs and with these people who don't really care about me. And good things will happen for me, but I have to put that work in first and I have to keep the faith. And it was just so crazy because I'm like, these people shouldn't even be telling me their personal life.
And I feel like God sent them there for a reason.
He did. He did.
Because how many times do we typically go to the hospital, whether it's big or small, and they just get in, do what they got to do, and they leave?
They get out.
Those people, they actually took the time, because as you're working in the hospital, you got several clients in there, in and out of people. But for them to be standing still, to be able to just speak and pour life into you,
Mm-hmm.
rather they knew you or not, that's
They
a blessing.
not know me at all. And that was only 2 people. I think I had another woman like let me know, like, girl, I had an addiction before too, and look at me. And I was like, this is not like, this doesn't define me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of people that I used to hang out with, they hate the guru, you know, because it seems like a facade. But those people, God sent those people to let me know that you can change at any time. You know what I mean? And be who you're destined to be. Don't get caught up in this world. You know what I mean? Don't let a man define your worth. Like, I learned so much. You know, it sucks that I had to go through that, but I learned so much. I learned so
Well, we
much.
have to go through things in order to be able to see how strong we are, for
Yeah.
one, and then what we're capable of doing from the trauma. And it's funny, today's episode was supposed to be about trauma.
Yeah.
And I love how you were able to share a little bit of your testimony and the trauma that you've been through in life. How was the transition, after you left that hospital, and, these women were pouring into your life about, being
Right.
depressed and not having to take drugs, and, loving yourself? How was that transition when you signed yourself out of the hospital? Because that's when the work actually starts, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, actually, when you admit to self-harm, and this is the craziest part, when they drew my blood and they were trying to see what type of drugs was I on, they
Mhm.
fentanyl in my system. Now I don't know how much you know about that, but that is serious. Okay.
Mhm.
And that was unbeknownst to me. I did not know that I was doing fentanyl. That just means the drug dealers were putting it in there.
Right. It's in the stuff that they were
Yeah.
getting.
And the
Mhm.
worst part about it was at the time, those were people I considered friends.
Mhm.
Really hurt me. So they would not just send me home because of the risk of me hurting myself
Okay.
and my daughter.
Oh, okay.
So I had to go to a like mental health facility.
Really? They transfer you to a mental health facility? I didn't know that.
Yes, yes. And of course, can you imagine how you feel? Because it's like 6 months ago, all I wanted to feel was on top of the world. And now I'm going to a mental institution.
Mhm.
I was heartbroken. So you can just imagine. I cried all day long. Mind you, I'm going
Right.
through withdrawal symptoms. And withdrawal symptoms is like you're hot, you're cold, you're hungry, you got
Feels. Mm.
anything. You're lashing out on people. Like, so it was just a really rough phase. And then when I got to that facility, it was the best thing known to man.
Now, did they ship you out to, like, a different state or location, or was it
No,
still
I,
local where you're able to? Okay.
um, I was very, very blessed. I don't want to say that they were showing favoritism, but since I worked at the hospital, I feel like they'd considered me and they wanted to keep me close because
Okay.
they didn't want me to lose my job. They didn't like
Right.
feel
They
judged.
cared about you. They cared about you, all in all.
God was really good, like, because I didn't know what to do with myself. So when I went to this facility, they made it to where I signed myself in voluntarily.
Okay.
So I only had to do 72 hours. This sounds like I went to jail. So I only do 72 hours, but that 3 days was the best experience of my life. I met people that I'll never forget. I met
Mhm.
therapists that I'll never forget. I met people who made me realize that, like, Tyra, you are so great. Like, why are you
You
here?
dope, girl, yes.
What? And it was what I needed, but if you would have told me that, I would have said absolutely not. You know what I mean? I met great people, and that may or may not be the same place that I am employed. So so it's just amazing, like how God works. And since I know the system of the place, I know how it moved me, and I cannot wait to move people like that. And it taught me new coping skills, even the little things in life we don't take advantage of. Like, go take a walk,
date yourself, right?
go date yourself, go meditate. It taught you things because we're so used to the fast life. You know, we got the internet. We need to be the baddest chick in the room. We got to have the nice clothes.
Relationship goals. You got family goals. You got the TikToks. We have so much. Social media is really taking taking control of everything as far as when people are becoming independent without technology.
Yeah.
It's taking away all that. So you really have to instill that not only in yourself, but in your children too, because it's taken over. It's truly taken over. I was just looking at something on Instagram, how they're getting rid of like cashiers and things like that, where you'll just be going into certain, I know Amazon already does it now, but you basically go into like a grocery store and you pick everything you need and you tap your phone and then it gets charged to your card.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that makes sense. So when you go into a place like that, it's like, okay, it makes, because you can't have your phone, you can't, you know what I mean? That's why I says, oh my God, did I go to jail? But but it was like, oh my gosh, when it was time to just sit in the yard, I just was like, I can't wait to sit in the grass. Like, and it helped you because you had a lot of solitude when you therapy and stuff. So I prayed hardcore every day, every night. And I just felt like I was like, I can't wait to get out of here to establish my dreams and and I'm the Go Guru now. And that's how I know I'm doing God's work, because this is all I want to do since I've been home from there.
That's so amazing. And then, when we were able to meet, I would have never known that you've been through everything that you've been through, because the glorifying of God is shown all over you. And you're so powerful. That's why I was like, no, girl, you as an uncommon woman, you need to be a part of this team, girl. We need to get you on the platform as another co-host, because I seen that in you too. And like I said, divine appointments, everything that he's placed in you is about to manifest. He's placed the women around you that you needed when you were in the hospital. He placed you in an institution so that you can understand solitude and be able to love on yourself and not need no one else, and learn how to be you internally. And then he's placed people in your circle to help you elevate and uplift, and everything that you want to become reality. He's placed those people in your life to help you and mold you and build you there, with the guidance of him too, because God is above all and everything that I do. I don't know about other people out there, but God is my resource, and through him I'm able to help others.
And I love that. I love that about you. And when you say help others, like you're not playing. Like, you will help others, and you don't do, and I can tell, like, you don't do it just to like, oh, like, I want, like, remember that, or like no, you're really like, girl, you need to do this here, this. Have you tried this? Like, like you're
Am I that bad?
But I feel like I've done enough talking, so I wanted to ask you a question. What's your like testimony on, first of all, how we met? Because I think it's kind of crazy. Like, what's your version, and then I'll tell mine.
My testimony. Well, I talked a little bit about my testimony in season 1, but I feel as though what you see now is definitely not something that was a part of me when I was younger. Like, I was the troubled child in my family. I grew up in a 2-family household, and I was the youngest of 3. And I felt like I didn't know who I was and who to talk to at a young age, in high school. And I was bad. I was fighting. I was in and out of fights. I had fights, like, no lie. I would get suspended. I would go back to school, get suspended again. And it was just, people was just always testing me, because I wasn't from the area. I was in the suburbs, but I wasn't from the city of the school I went to. So it was like, y'all can test me if you want to, but I know how to fight. Like, I'm from Philly. Like, y'all can test me if you want to. And I was just really like, I don't care what you say, or I don't care what you do. I'm going to do what I want to do mentality. and influenced by, smoking weed. Like, I've been there. Like you said, all the worldly things, I've been there. And with those type of mentalities at a young age, I was influenced by peer pressure.
Yeah.
The guidance that I was getting was from teens, not my parents.
Mhm.
Teens, and then back then television. So the things that you seen on TV, it was like you want to replicate what you see on TV. So I was influenced by, sex and just being very promiscuous until I hit like rock bottom, was like, nah, this ain't for me. I don't
Yeah.
want to do this no more. It has to be more to life.
Yeah.
And I was with my son's father, what was it, 3 or 4 years, and I ended up getting pregnant, even on birth control. And I was like, I don't like kids. I don't want no kids. Like, kids gonna mess up my life, But it's so crazy. I talk about this in my book. My mother wanted me to get an abortion. His father wanted me to get an abortion. And even though I didn't like kids and I didn't want kids, that wasn't something that came to my mind. Like,
So
that
glad
wasn't something that I thought of.
yeah.
And even with them saying it, it was still like, nah, I'm not having an abortion. I'm not going to just kill the baby. And that was my turnaround for my life. I was like, even though I've had struggles and did what I wanted to do, and I was this acting out teen, I knew that once I brought another child in this life, in this world, that I had to be a role model and change for myself, but not only for myself, for my child. So once I had my son, that was like a whole 360. I went into mommy mode, and some people don't get into mommy mode. Some people just want to live their life and do what they want to do. But I knew that I was raising the next generation. So I knew that, for one, I was not going to raise my son how I was brought up, even though I lived in a 2-parent household. It was very toxic.
Yeah.
They didn't give me gender roles of how to be a woman, my feminine traits on being a woman, how to cook. My son's father taught me how to cook. And
that's like worse when you're
that's a big thing, because these generations, they don't cook. So like, I knew little stuff on how to cook, but the basics. But like I said, I was the youngest, so I got away with a lot of stuff, growing up. But so back to being a mom, I didn't know the essentials of being a mom, how to cook, and being a woman, the feminine traits of just taking care of yourself, hygiene. Hygiene is very important. And then the roles of what's expected from a man versus what you're supposed to do as a woman. So it definitely was a teaching skill for myself. And then I was able to instill some traits for my son as being a boy. These are the things that you have to do as being a man when you get older. Or these are the things that's expected when you want to get in a relationship with a woman. You open the door, you make sure you have flowers on your first date, you're respectable, you listening to them, you're communicating. All the things that I didn't get as a child, I make sure I instill in my son. And that's why I kind of started the podcast, because it's like, I didn't have a mentor growing up. I didn't have support or something that I can go to be able to be like, you know what, even though I'm going through something, I can get past this. Yeah. I didn't have that growing up, and I want to be the change that I didn't have. So that's how Uncommon Women came into place. And that's how mentoring the young teens came into place. And that's how my 4 books came into place. And it's like, I am very genuine when it comes to helping anybody.
Yeah.
People take advantage of it. So I go through stuff because people that aren't used to getting help, you give them an inch, they take a mile, and I've learned to balance some things out, but it's because I have a good heart, because I've known what God's got me through.
Yes. Amen. Amen. Well, I love that. And it's crazy. That makes me appreciate your son more, because he made you who you are today. And it's so crazy, because that's the definition of breaking a cycle. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we're just like, well, I didn't have this or that. So, like, my kid don't either, because I ain't have it.
Right. And we make excuses sometimes too. Well, I got pregnant young, and this is why I went through this and the third. No, I changed that lemon into lemonade, honey.
Yeah. And he's going to have so much generational wealth. He's going to be a great husband and father. Like, that's amazing. And that proves too that you don't need a 2-parent household to be this magnificent person. So I'm just excited. And I feel like our like the upcoming generation, especially of color, like, I'm so proud of the ones that are trying. We are doing an amazing job.
Yes. And I see how we're reviving. Like, I see so much Black excellence in the world, and I'm just loving how a lot of people are starting their own businesses and, just doing what they have to do to set themselves apart from others. Because there was a time, I would say, maybe even probably before the pandemic, where there was a lot of comparison going on. There was a lot of comparison, and it was more of people were trying to be like the Kardashians or be like the Joneses. No disrespect to anybody out there, but it's just like, when are you going to find your own identity? When are you going to walk in your own purpose? There is no timeline on celebrating yourself.
Yeah.
And I think people need to realize that we live in a society where everything's so quick. People think that everything's going to be popcorn manifested. Absolutely. Things happen through time. Everybody is posting their celebrations on social media, but let me tell you, people go through those failures and they go through things that are not posted on social media, and you got to realize that everything takes time. Anything that's worthwhile, that's going to have a solid foundation, is going to take time. Nothing's going to happen successfully overnight.
And you gotta, and yeah, like I said earlier, like, faith without work is dead. Like, you gotta put in that work, and you gotta be patient when you're putting in that work. That was a problem that I had too at some points. And it's so crazy because when you're doing the right thing, God aligns you in the right places with the right people.
He opens those doors. Come on.
And about earlier about how we met, I don't know what your version is, but for me, it's so funny because I met a friend like online years ago, and like through social media. And when I got out of that hospital, I got rid of my old Instagram because I didn't want any. I didn't want to attach to
influence. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and and I'm like you said, peer pressure is not my thing because I like to be non-judgmental, and I like to try things once. So I'm just terrible.
Mm-hmm. So, you gotta try some good thing once, but I feel you, girl.
I learned my lesson. But that was my personality at the time. So I made a whole new Instagram, but I followed all the good influences, the people who didn't know that stuff, because I was still functioning. And that's the dangerous part too, because you're not completely showing, but people know something's wrong with you.
Right.
But anyway, I just got out there and I started doing my motivational Mondays, and my friend slid up on me and he was like, "Hey, I got a friend that does what you do. I'm really proud of what you're doing. I'm going to slide you his info." And it was James.
Okay.
So I'm talking to James and we're like, I'm getting podcasting advice and we're networking and we're, working through things. I'm getting to know him. And one day he texts me, he's like, "Tyra, I got somebody that you need to meet."
Come on, there go them plugins.
Thank God though, because it's just like these are just times I'm trying to focus and do the right things, and people are noticing that, and they are like, "You know what, I got someone that you will plug in with and probably make some good work with." And he was like, "This is her name, Shanir." He's like, "I'm giving," and he knows how I can be too. He said, "I'm giving you a week to reach out to her."
And you know what's crazy? So how did I meet James? Honestly, I've never even met James. So I had filled out, I was trying to get some grants for the podcast. I ain't gonna lie. And I was like doing my business thing.
But you're doing what you're supposed to. That's what's so crazy. Like you're fulfilling your purpose.
Right. So I was in the process of trying to get some grants, and I had a conference scheduled to meet with somebody. Now, as you know, I'm very structured. So it was like 7:30 and I'm like, they ain't called yet. We 5-10 minutes in. Like, I got things to do. I got meeting in 20 minutes from here, this, then the third. So I had reached out and was like, "Hi, I was supposed to have da-da-da-da." So then I guess the person that was supposed to be scheduled with me, because they were extremely busy during the grant season, wasn't able to reach out. So James had reached out when he received the message. And, I was running down all the stuff that I do. I'm an author. I'm my list, my train list is real long. So to make it long story short, I'm an entrepreneur. And he was like, "Oh, okay. I love that. That's dope. I have someone that's like 20, 30 minutes away from you that's interested in doing the same thing too." And he, spoke life over you. And I was like, "Word, she's local too. I love it." So I was like, let me reach out to her. Life got busy for both of us. I think we rescheduled. Was it the first time that we had to reschedule? Life got busy.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God, yes. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, life did get crazy at first.
And then I was like, I'll make time when I can. So somehow we able to make time, and we clicked since. Like, So James, shout out to James. He definitely was
yeah, that is so
sowing
nice.
a seed in both of us when we didn't even know.
Yeah.
And he put us together for a reason because you're dope. I don't know if you're aware of it, but you're definitely dope. I love you. I love Monday Motivation. I'm glad that you're a part of Uncommon Women. I'm glad that I'm able to mentor you and guide you to be able to be more of who God wants you to be. You know, you are the gold guru, uplifting, edifying other people. And I'm just loving that we're able to pour not only into each other, but pour into others as we're pouring into each other to make an impact in this world, because there's so much negativity. There's so much negativity in this world. There's so much competition. And we just need to be a team sometimes and just come together and not be so jealous of what other people are doing. There is enough opportunity for everybody at the top, whether we're doing the same thing or not. Because I think a lot of people get so discouraged when it's like, oh, well, she's doing the same thing that I want to do. We can't do the same thing. Do you know how many hairstylists there is in the world?
Yeah.
Do you know how many barbers there is in the world? Do you know how many podcasters there is in the world? You can do it too.
Yeah.
The only difference is your passion and what you're doing is always going to be different from someone else's because you have a gift. Absolutely. And when you have a gift and you sow into your gift for whatever your passion business that you're doing, it's not going to look like nobody else's. Mm-hmm. There's a million podcasts, but I know there's not going to be another podcast like Uncommon Women's because I'm sowed in first from God. And then also that's what makes us different. That's what strives to be different in the world, because I know that what I want is not going to be the same as someone else's, even though we're doing the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just like you said, there's room at the top. And I know one thing, I love Steve Harvey morning show, but I also like Ricky Smiley morning show. Like, no, like there's no number one, unfortunately. So I love that you said that. And if one person's booked, I know another hairstylist that's not. Like, we got to start sharing love, sharing platforms. Don't be intimidated. I think what makes someone so appealing and so interesting is when they're confident. You know what I mean? And they're secure in their business, in their work, you know. So.
Yes, and go ahead, girl.
And I was just gonna say, like, this was a great podcast. It was very unexpected, but this was amazing.
Yes, I figured, you know, even though our guest speaker wasn't able to be here today, it was just for us to come on and, you know, just be raw today, share a little bit of your testimony so people can know a little bit of who Tyra is, let them step into your testimony and, you know, just reiterate my testimony and why I am the way I am and how far I've came. Because the people that I meet today, they be like, oh, she's such this, you know, listen, I can get a little hood too. It's still in me, but I've grown a lot because I know where God wants to take me, you know, and we got to come to that realization. Like, what is your purpose here on this world? Are you just living life to live?
Exactly. And once I stopped resisting my gift, I honestly feel happier. And that's why I started doing Motivational Monday. So that's what I want people to know. Like, Motivational Monday is not just because I woke up and my life is great and I just want to say some stuff. Like, no, I literally like was at the bottom, meant to.
Oh, we lost her.
But like, I just want people to know why I do Motivational Monday. And it's because I literally was at the bottom. You know what I mean? I know what it feels like to not be confident, to not feel like, you know, you have anyone to love or, you know, no one loves you. And when I went through all that stuff and I came back, I felt on top. And I had that little apartment, no furniture in it. And God like blessed me with so many good people in my life. And he blessed me with this mindset. And so that's why I always share my thoughts. And I always share things that I've been through, because that's the best. When you know for a fact that you can get through this, because so did I.
Right. And I think it helps other people to realize, like, what you see now is not what it's always been.
Yeah.
And before we close out, I want everybody to know, don't let your past dictate where you're going, your future, you know? And also don't limit the ability of what you want to do. When I say I do it all, I mean I do it all. Not just a podcast. I'm a travel agent. I do travel and nursing. I'm a 4-time author. I'm a coach. I'm a mentor. You can do it all. Don't tie yourself down to one thing. Now you got to be very structured. You definitely got to be very structured and have some type of plan on how you're going to do it, because me personally, I put 150% in everything. I don't half anything. You know, I want it to be not necessarily perfection, but I want it to be worthwhile doing. So you can do it all. Don't let nobody limit you. And one thing I want to close with before we leave is do what you want to do, not what you can do. And that goes for everything. Date who you want to date, not who you can date. As far as a job, get into what you want to do, not where you can work. So just keep that in mind, because I want everybody to just be encouraged to be the best of who you are. You know, be uncommon, be the best version of yourself.
Yes. Thank you, Shanira. This was great. Everybody stay uncommon, stay true to yourself, and stay true to your passion.
Absolutely. All right, girl, you want to go ahead and close out?
Yes, I'm going to close out. Stay tuned every Monday, Motivational Monday by yours truly. Every Thursday, either if it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, Uncommon Woman is going to be here. We're going to promote businesses. We're also going to interview people. If you or someone you know has an interesting testimony, please tell them to email us at uncommonwomanpodcast@gmail.com. Also, we are going to invest in commercials. So if you got something that you want us to show off, or if you want to even just show yourself off, let us know. Email us as well. We're willing to do promotions. We're just here to help you grow, guys. Okay?
Yeah. So speaking of commercials, we do have an ad just giving a little bit of information more on what we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for you.
Have you recently started a business? Maybe looking to get more exposure? Are you interested in taking your business to the next level? Let Uncommon Women Podcast further assist you with our business and brand promoting packages. For more information, please email us at uncommonwomenpodcast.com or reach us directly on one of our social media platforms so we can further assist you. And always remember, stay uncommon.
Yeah, so thank you, viewers, for tuning in to Uncommon Women today. I hope you guys learned something. Tyra, did you have anything else to say before we go ahead and close out?
No, just thank you for letting me be vulnerable, everybody. I hope you enjoyed.
Yes, we'll talk to you next week.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you've been shacking up with us for a while and